So what we're looking for when we're trying to file a claim to get you a new roof approved by insurance is we're looking for mainly two types of damage. Common types of storm damage on a roof is going to be hail damage and wind damage. So right here, what you're looking for with the hail hit is you want the shingle to have a small indentation, and you want that shingle to actually be pushed in, right? So we have one here. You can see how it is indented into the shingle, and you have another one here with the same indentation, and the granules are going to be pushed into that indentation. For wind damage, wind damage is not very common on architectural shingles, which is why they've upgraded to architectural shingles. If your contractor's putting on like 3-tab shingles or something, ask them about architectural shingles. So with wind damage, what you're gonna look for is the shingle actually lifted up off the roof itself. So what happens is over time, the lamination on the backside of this shingle kind of wears away, and with the heavy winds that we get up here, it's gonna lift that shingle up and completely delaminate it. Typically, especially with, not so much with architectural shingles, but with 3-tab shingles, you'll also start to see a crease up here at the top of the shingle too. We don't see that here just because this is an architectural shingle, but with a lot of 3-tab homes, you know, it's very, very common. Right here, we have a rotten area where the plywood underneath has rotted out. And this could be due to nail holes, nails missing, but also what happens is where these shingles are butted up to each other, those can actually leak between there, and if the shingle beneath that is worn or has holes in it or nail holes, your water will actually get in through that crack where the shingles meet. But you can see all this is rotten. I'm the heavy guy. Had I put my weight on that, I would have fallen through the whole thing. And we don't want that, not on a customer's house. Any pieces of metal, you have a dish satellite over there, we have a vent right here. Any pieces of metal on a roof, you want to check for hail damage. So what we're looking for on these vents is we're looking for hail damage. So same kind of thing with the shingles, we're looking for those indentations into this metal vent. So how we go about finding this is, first of all, you can usually see it, because if I had to mark this up, you could still see it. But another surefire way to make sure you don't miss those marks, you just take a longer piece of chalk than what I got, run it down the whole thing across like that, blow the loose dust away, and you can see all these indentations here, clearly almost a size bigger than my finger. But that's a massive hail. I mean, this is probably 1.5 inch, 2 inch hail. This is big hail. So with insurance, the size of hail that we get is important. A lot of insurance companies, you know, if you have 0.75 inch hail or 3/4 inch hail, they're especially, you know, some of the bigger companies, they're not gonna wanna approve that. They're gonna call it wear and tear or granule loss. So when doing these inspections, you really wanna make sure you look for the larger hail hits. And you want to have at least 10 hail hits on each directional slope, right? So north, south, east, west, left, right, front, back. You want at least 10 hail hits on each slope, and on each elevational slope too. Elevational slope, when talking insurance lingo, it's when two slopes, even though they're facing the same direction, they're on different elevations and not tied into each other, right? So for the slope that we're currently standing on right here, this is the north slope. So if we find our damage on there, they'll replace this slope, but they're not going to replace that slope down here unless we find another 10 hail hits on this slope as well. Or another reason to justify them buying this slope, because these slopes don't tie in. When it comes to inspecting roofs, what we also want to check for is general wear and tear and granule loss. And that just comes from just being out in the weather over time. Heat, rain, all that stuff will eventually break down the tar and the granules that sit on top of the shingle, right? So all this is a perfect example of granule loss and wear and tear. We're starting to see these fibers up here starting to get shown to the elements, right? So this should all be covered in tar and these granules. This will absolutely not be covered by insurance because wear and tear, they do not cover wear and tear. You could argue with this that there is wind damage because you can see the crease slowly starting to show up here, but the problem is we have too much wear and tear there. And most insurance companies, they're gonna double down on wear and tear if they see it. So what you wanna do in that case, you wanna have a qualified roofer company come out, inspect your roof like us. You know, we're claim specialists and we'll get the roof taken care of for you. Cool. That concludes our inspection of this roof. We're gonna go back through here and we're gonna mark up some more hail damage and stuff. And then we'll get the adjuster meeting scheduled, we'll get the claim filed, and then we'll get this roof bought.